My name is Sarah Lusher. I graduated from Liberty High School in Frisco in 2010. So if anybody in the audience is a junior or a senior, a little bit before you were going into high school, I was finishing up with it. After graduating from Liberty, I went on to the University of Texas at Austin, and in August, I'll be going to Northwestern University to get my PhD in English. I share all of this because I want the students in the audience to realize that life after elementary and middle and high schools does happen, and you don't get there alone. I remember from being in school that yesterday and today and tomorrow feel like everything, and it's really hard to see past that immediate future, what's going to happen tomorrow. But I also know from personal experience that you do get past the days where it feels like the world is closing in on you and you move on to bigger and better things. My alma mater, the University of Texas, has a motto: what starts here changes the world. And I'm speaking tonight because I want what we do here to change at least one person's world. I'm not going to speak tonight about being bullied. Caroline did a beautiful job with that. I'm going to speak about what it's like to stand up against bullying. We've all probably experienced a time where we stood by, silent, while something happened that just didn't feel right. But I want to tell everyone tonight, and especially the students, that you don't have to be particularly big, or strong, or popular, or influential to stand up for what you believe is right and to make a difference in someone's life. Standing in the face of bullying takes courage, and it takes you deciding that you can't ignore the suffering of someone else any longer. So to share and illustrate this experience, I'm going to share one of the things that happened to me when I was in school. I rode the bus with a group of students who continually picked on one guy in particular. I'm going to call him Joseph. So Joseph was smaller and younger than the other students, and he was always the target of their jokes and their insults and their games. And I usually sat by quiet, minding my own business, while Joseph tried to pretend that what was happening, that their insults and their injuries didn't matter. I avoid confrontation, generally, and I really didn't want to get involved in the situation. But eventually a moment arose where I knew that I couldn't live with myself if I sat by, silent, any longer. This moment came when the group of bullies stole Joseph's glasses and refused to give them back. They tormented him, holding his glasses just out of reach and mocking all of his struggles to get them back. In the course of the struggle, one of his lenses of the glasses popped out, and still they wouldn't relent. They wouldn't give the glasses back, and I sat there boiling as I watched them steal and break his possessions and mock his helplessness. It struck a personal chord too, because as someone who's had glasses since the first grade, I know how hard it is to be without your glasses. And I could also imagine the trouble that he might get into at home after this, saying that he needed a new pair of glasses now. Glasses aren't cheap. So by the time the stop came, he'd given up. He was getting off the bus, resigned, without his now broken glasses. And I, meanwhile, had been building up my nerve the whole time to do or say something. I knew that it was a now or never moment for me. The bullies had crossed a line of cruelty that I couldn't ignore. And so as Joseph climbed down the steps to get off the bus, I marched myself to the back of it, and I looked the ringleader in the eye. I can assure you that I was no bigger or more intimidating than I am today, and I was no one special to these bullies. But I was brave, and I was fed up with what they were doing. So I stuck out my hand and I said, "Can I have those glasses?" And they all looked at me, and somebody said, "What are you going to do with them?" I said, "Give them back to him." And so one of them handed over the frames, and I said, "Can I have the lens too?" Because, glasses aren't much good with just one lens. So somebody bent over and handed me the lens, and as soon as I had it, I turned on my heel and I got off the bus, and I was ready to give Joseph back his glasses. Now students, I would never encourage you to put your own safety at risk. I wouldn't want you to get yourself into a situation that you feel is dangerous. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to tell an authority figure about the situation. But if the only thing at risk is your pride, if the only thing standing in your way is a fear of embarrassment or or a fear of confrontation like me, or a fear that you aren't big enough to make a difference, I urge you to have courage and speak up. I wasn't intimidating. I didn't scare or threaten or lecture those bullies. They weren't shaking in their seats. I simply opened their eyes to the cruelty and injustice of their actions by showing them that I cared and Joseph mattered. After all, it wasn't really about a pair of glasses. It was about making sure that a fellow student didn't feel helpless, powerless, and alone. And to all the teachers and parents, as a daughter and former student, I urge you to have open eyes and open ears. Winston Churchill said, "Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen." And thank you.